Hello YouTube, this is Rockingham Military Antiques bringing you another uniform grouping, this one belonging to a replacement from the 18th Infantry Regiment. This uniform grouping belonged to Private Harvey Sparman, who came overseas in July of 1918 with the 339th Infantry Regiment of the 85th Division, and a month later, in August, was transferred to the 18th Infantry Regiment as part of the 1st Division. So here you can see his 1st Division insignia on his private purchase uniform. He participated in the battles of St. Mihiel and Meuse-Argonne, and this Cross of War here, his regiment was awarded for their participation at Lorraine during the Meuse-Argonne offensive. Here we have his dog tags. You can kind of see they're upside down. Maybe this one's... Yep. Harvey Sparman. So he was only overseas for between 6 and 12 months. I forget exactly when he went back to the States. It might have been February of 1919. And he was wounded in action. As you can see right there. He was actually gassed. He was gassed on October 2nd, 2 days before his division was supposed to take the place of the 35th Division on the front line during the Meuse-Argonne offensive. And apparently it was due to the soil that their company, or regiment as a whole, was digging into was saturated with gas, and the sunlight that it was exposed to when dug up vaporized the gas, and it hit a bunch of guys in the unit. There's U.S. disc on this side, rifles disc, side cap. This is all his. I'm very glad to have all this stuff. Complete uniform groupings like this are really what I love to get now. Putties, and I stuck the 48-star parade flag that was also his in there, just for fun. So after the war, he would unfortunately suffer the effects of the gas for the rest of his life. He would go in and out of veterans' hospitals until his death, basically, and in 1937... he had both of his legs amputated after his feet turned gangrenous, and in 1943 he died as a result of further complications from the damage the gas did to his body. These are some more items from the grouping down here. Actually, another 1st Division patch, which looks like at one point it was sewn to a uniform. I'm trying to find a good spot where I can rest it without it being out of the light. Here. I don't like that. I think I'll just scooch this over. Okay, so there is some other stuff, but there's a lot of Army issue stuff like this, like tissue, paper here. There's a couple of rolls of that. This was his Army issue, either wound stripe or overseas stripe, but he chose to go for private purchase bullion ones instead. Here's a nice silver ring that it'll be impossible to see on camera. Actually has the liberty, equality, and fraternity, French, in French, of course, and 1918 inside it, which I think is super cool. It actually does say something on the other side of the rim, but I cannot make it out. I think it's just too worn off. Here we have a 45 ACP. This is 1917, but the interesting thing about this one is it's actually not, or it was probably produced with the intent to be fired, but someone changed it. Let's see if I can get this out with one hand. Okay, so I cannot get it out with one hand, but there's the bullet you can see. Then inside it's a dice case, which I thought was super interesting. Get the bullet back in there. Here is a matchbox, which came from the British War Relief Society, which may be post-war, but probably, or maybe also could have been picked up in Britain. I believe most ships that went overseas stopped in Britain for a time before being sent to France. So, and then you can see it was actually quite well used there. This right here, I unfortunately can't really mess with, but that's a German trench mirror with an Iron Cross insignia on the top. The top of it is actually tin. It's just, stamped with the Iron Cross. But this thing has been shattered for quite a time inside. So I kind of put the glass back into place where it's supposed to be, and then I'm going to rubber band it shut at some point, basically. Ooh, my focus is going. Down here, there's some more staples of U.S. souvenirs. We have a German uniform button right here with the crown on it. And then these right here are belt hooks, I guess. When I first got it, I thought they were like a cape chain, something to hold your cape together around the front. But it might just be like a pocket watch chain or something, because apparently those are like belt holders. Right here we have a fragment of a Pickelhaube, model 1895 one, I think. It's golden. You can see the little parts of the lettering right there. And then right here is kind of something interesting. This is an Austro-Hungarian machine gunner badge, which is kind of weird. I actually looked this up, so this is... I'm not super experienced with this stuff, but from what I can tell, it's either a like standard Army Hungarian like uniform badge or a machine gunner badge, and I forget the way to tell the difference. I can look it up at some point, though. This right here is probably the most grisly souvenir, or at least provenly grisly. It is a German calendar. There's not much writing in it, but you can see he wrote his name and his company and everything, and he wrote his address in there. But on the back, oh, come on, you can see "taken off a dead German" written right there at the top. Definitely a very dark souvenir to have, which, you know, to be honest, a lot of these souvenirs that came in these groupings were probably taken off of dead Germans, but that one having the proof with it is very interesting, and it looks like he meant to send that one home. So, you know, it's very interesting stuff to come across for sure. Right here we have his mess kit, which you can see on the bottom and everything has definitely been well used. I actually don't know what's up with these. I've seen these like little tape marks. Looks like where tape used to be on a bunch of mess kits, specifically mess kits, but I don't know exactly what it was, because it looks like it's like modern day Scotch tape, but I'm trying to get this thing open. Unfortunately, I'm limited to having one hand while recording. Okay, yet again, I had to pause it to open this thing up, but on the inside of the lid, you can see right here, HS, Harvey Sparman, 18th Infantry, stamped into it. And I don't know exactly with what frequency these mess kits were stamped, because I do have some that are named and not stamped, and some that are named and stamped. It's very interesting. Maybe it's based on the regiment, or even maybe the company of the regiment, that these things would be marked. Let me close that up there. And then down here, on the bottom shelf, is his Red Cross bag with HC Sparman on it. And there's a couple of things in here that I didn't have out on display. There's a couple of little pamphlets and such, like these, that are just random little advertisements from the era and all that kind of stuff, which are interesting to come across. Right here, I have his mess kit fork that actually also has HS. Ooh, that's really hard to see. But you can kind of see it says HS under the US there, but it's been stamped over itself multiple times. I'm guessing it was just like a light stamp. Yeah, that's really difficult to see. You can kind of see it if you look, but it's been stamped over itself a couple of times, so pretty hard to read. And then there's a couple of other things in here. I'm no expert with old tools and things like that, but this right here, I believe, is a folding brush for your shoes, to scuff them off with, I believe. And a little pamphlet about President Wilson. And I actually also have another uniform that has a very interesting story. It's not a grouping like this one, but it is a very interesting uniform that I will make a video on next. But thank you for watching, and I was glad to share Private Sparman's story, and I will see you in the next one.